today. Here we are.
It's the mystical Riff by the river.
I'm Nameh, and this is
Leah.
Hello.
Hello, and I'm holding down the tarot side for this reading for six-liners for the month of August 2026.
Yes. And while Leah's shuffling the tarot decks, I'm going to explain a little bit about kind of how we were imagining this structure for this reading could be an offer to you. So in the human design system, which is a mapping opportunity for how your energy wants to flow and function, what's your life purpose, which energy centers are defined, what gate activations happen due to the exact placement of your time of birth. The gate that's defined in your sun or your earth has a dot and then a number after that. So it could be 1 through 6. And so you might find that you're coming to this reading, the 6-line reading, and going, I'm a 4-6. I'm going to also go check out the line 4 reading. Or 6-2, 3-6, 6-3, etc. So the opportunity, if you're interested, is to get some nourishment through the tarot deck, the human design information, and us fun people. And here we go.
Ooh, King of Wands.
Okay.
This is a nice little wand sandwich because the one line started with Queen of Wands, and now we've gone all the way through to the 6th line, and we have the King of Wands.
Awesome.
Her companion. Ooh. So, do you want me to jump in?
Please.
King of Wands. So in the sort of developmental arc of the court cards, from page to knight to queen to king, the king is kind of like the elder, the guide. So whereas queen might be the peak fertile creative moment, king is like I've done it so many times, I've been through so many versions of it, I am now serving as a guide. I'm now passing on my legacy. I'm now sort of quieting the hyper creative part of it to be able to sort of teach and pass on.
Whoa.
Yeah?
Whoa. How would you say the King of Wands or the king in the minor relate to the Emperor Empress?
Yeah.
Is there a corollary to the Emperor?
Yeah, I would say every queen and king is like a mirror of the Empress and the Emperor. Yeah, so wands are in the fire suit, right? So this is the creative, the manifesting, the taking what's in here and actually bringing it like a gift to the world. Like, actual like creating form from ideas and from that creative inner energy. And so I guess where I'm saying that is because it's like a specific flavor, right, of that sort of kingly leadership. The Emperor sort of has this additional quality of being deeply structured, with a shadow side of being kind of overly domineering, which any king can dip into that and have that shadow side when out of balance. So I think there is a mirror there in the kings and the Emperor having this leadership and this structure and this clout in society. But the King of Wands has more of this like fiery creative energy that they're like passing on to the world that I don't associate it as much with the Emperor.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, so I wanted to make the connection with 6 lines because 6 lines, when we look at line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, after the 6, they're going to return back to the 1. So these 1 through 6 are considered to be a cycle. So when you were explaining originally the King of Wands before I asked the Emperor question, I heard something about what's next. And 6 lines have a very distinct trajectory, unlike any of the other profiles 1 through 5. So 6 lines have 3 segments of life. They have the first 30 years, which typically kind of shifts them into the middle phase of life at the Saturn return, which is around age 30. And then between the Saturn return and the Chiron return, six lines are thought to go on the roof. And the roof is part of the metaphor that Ra offered. So Ra Uruhu, the person who brought human design through into form, would use the house analogy. So the first line is that foundation. So almost like, the where the house meets the ground. So is it a sturdy foundation? And where moving all the way up to the sixth line, they're on top of the house on the roof thinking about, as a soul, what's next? Where do we go? And so these three phases of life for the six lines, they're looking at, in the middle part of life, they're looking back on the first 30 years, and they're maybe a little bit more detached from the mundane life because they're wanting to make sense of, why did these experiences happen? What can I learn from them? How can I evolve or see a different perspective so that I don't maybe step in the puddle in the same way that I did in the first 30 years of life? And then at some point, it's thought that the sixth line, after their Chiron return, something will invite them back into the mundane life or that interactive experience of life to get back in there off of the roof. So it's thought of as like on the roof or off the roof, depending upon the second half of life or that mid time of life. And so I'm finding that really interesting because with the King of Wands, there's that embodied lived wisdom to then now see what is it that I want to bring forward. So I most quickly caught that as the post Chiron return off roof experience. There's just something that just feels like it's really speaking to the sixth line quality. And one of the cautions that can be for a sixth line is to really live from their being essence and maybe have less of a care or a consideration for the doing side of it, which I think is interesting from Wands' perspective, because it sounds like Wands is more in the tangible expression of life. And also kind of the invitation for six lines to consider is maybe be loose with that perspective on perfectionism. And I'm curious, is perfectionism a quality or a detail that arrives in the King of Wands explanations?
I mean, it is not a word I associate with King of Wands.
Right.
I would likely imagine that a King of Wands would suggest to their apprentices, encourage them to not get stuck on perfectionism in order to create.
Yeah.
Because this is an elder. Also interesting to the roof concept called the mystic.
Yes.
So that connection to sort of the other world, this sort of like, as the elder, as the mystic, sort of one toe or foot starting to drift into this sort of next world, next life, and in that also looking back and passing on wisdom, and I think there is a sort of elder wisdom of learning from mistakes and not worrying about perfectionism, even if I haven't heard it directly connected to the King of Wands. Yeah.
And what's most traditionally referred to as six lines is that they're the role model. So they've had this whole experience of life, they've digested it, they've gone on the roof, they've thought about where actually are we meant to go and what's the soul's journey. And so the invitation is that they likely are somebody who's moving through the world as a sage with all of this wisdom that people can come and ask questions about and be resourced.
Yeah, kings are right there. Yeah, love it.
I couldn't pick.
Okay, cool.
The whale. Oh, interesting. Okay, so this is gate 33, the record keeper, or in traditional human design referred to as retreat. So this is really interesting. This to me is bringing us back to the being on the roof. So this is in the collective sensing understanding circuit. So people who have gate 33 might also have gate 13, I believe it is, but the gate of the listener, and then 33, the gate of retreat. And so people who have this channel, I think it's called the Prodigy channel, everybody wants to tell them their story. Everybody wants to say, here's the thing that happened in my life. And it might be a lot more intimate than you would tell a stranger, but there's something about the quality of this energy that somebody could sense in another that has them want to tell. So the 33 side of the Prodigy channel is about, oh, I've collected all of this information, and now I'm going to go and retreat and be maybe on the roof and digest. So it's retreating to make sense. And it's in the making sense that then, as specifically this channel, the Prodigy, that 33 is oriented in, they can offer a direction. So they have this wealth of hearing. They're also, aside from the record keeper, I've also heard it as like the librarian. They're the memory keepers of a family. They're the ones who know, like, hey, did you know that cousin so-and-so did blah, blah, blah? And so they're like resourcing from all of this collective information of navigating the human life and offering a wisdom after they've retreated.
I love that. Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, it makes me think too about the wands aspect of this king being this sort of creative energy, and how record keeping, archiving can be a form of channeling that energy, you know, in this whatever moment you're in your life journey, but this moment in this chapter in your life, like, you've done so much, you've been through so much, you've learned so much to be sort of stepping into this king phase of development in this chapter. This invitation to archive, to track, and then retreat, because you've been through so much, and it could really help to both put it down, like to write it down, or whatever way you like to track, and then to let it go for a bit so you can actually process it.
Yeah.
And I think just reminding yourself that you're a leader and you've done this and you've earned this, and this might be a good moment for that, like, reflection and record keeping and retreat that the 33 gate is encouraging.
And I'm also struck by whale too. Like, whale to me is such a wisdom keeper.
Yeah.
You know, they used to walk on land, and
yeah, and they said, actually, we're gonna go back to the ocean. I like it in there.
And that's an interesting parallel with the 6th line, because when they're on the roof and they're getting a sense, or they're getting a taste of, well, what's next in this afterlife, sometimes it can be hard to come back down to earth.
Yeah.
So a whale, and just thinking about how they used to walk, and now they're like, no, let's go stay in the ocean. I don't know, there's something that I'm connecting up there.
And then the whale song, right? There's like this whole thing about whales, they like build their songs over generations, like, and then like generations add to the song, and so there's this like record keeping through song that keeps getting evolved in each generation too.
I love it.
Yeah.
Ready?
I'm ready.
So I pulled from the Angel Answers, and I actually pulled 2 cards and I wasn't sure, and now I want to flip both of them. Oh, good. Okay, so the first card is in the near future, and the second card is big happy changes. So I think that's interesting with, you know, maybe this moment in time in August 2026, and then maybe if we weave in the eclipse season, I guess I could sense like setting down of an old way, or a way that's outgrown its effectiveness. There could be a little anxiety or a little fear, and at least how I like to work with this deck is I want a little angel sprinkles of hope and it doesn't always come through. Like sometimes there's a clear no with this deck. And what I'm feeling as a potential weaving through with these cards in this August 2026 navigation is, to be in presence, in trusting and surrendering to. We have the capacity to adjust what needs adjusting, and that changes are in process, and maybe the tangible or the clarity for what are those changes and how will they feel. We're getting a big happy.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then I guess my little added sprinkle at the end is just thinking about the record keeping in the retreat, like finding some closure with this chapter through that record keeping and archiving and reflecting on where you've been and your journey in order to move into this next journey, in order to like enter this next beginning. And so when I see like in the near future big happy changes, I think of like what can be made possible when you take the time to sort of thoughtfully record and then reflect and then retreat about this last journey. What can that open up for the next one?
Yeah. Because it also feels like in order to step into the possibility of big happy changes, that record keeping moment needs the book closed. Yeah. Well, beautifuls, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Line
Nameh.
Sixes. Leah out.
Bye.
And it sounds like there's an invitation in here, if you're not already, the Ravens.
That was so low.
Wow. They're a mated pair.
Whoa.
This is their territory.
Whoa.
Mated pair like the King and Queen of Wands. But